Yeah. I have no idea what just happened. None. Like it just looked like everybody just dropped out of the room. Crazy. Peace, peace, my V. This is crazy, yo. It looked like everybody just literally dropped out the room. That's crazy as crap. All right, I'm gonna just wait for people to jump back in so we can continue. Peace, Straight Panther. Cobra Queen, peace, peace. I don't know what happened, y'all. That's some YouTube technical difficulties. Maybe it was that Giants comment. Who knows? But like I was saying before, YouTube rudely interrupted me. She's not a Giants fan. She's actually a Patriots fan. Unbelievable. But anyways, go figure. All right. So let's continue here. All right. People find us. They find us. They don't. Oh, well. I'm sure they'll find us enough. All right. So, yeah, the connection dropped, which is weird because it has only done that like one or two other times. But anyway. All right. So the dark side of the fourth chakra. Issues and challenges. Letting go of personal needs enough to hear those of others. Feeling so inwardly wounded that one thinks loving just sets me up for disappointment when others go away. Sadly, most people live out their entire lives with their fourth chakra almost completely closed. In some, the door that leads to it is not just slammed shut, but locked and bolted because they're afraid that if the door to their heart is open, someone might betray them. When that's the case, cautious attitudes and actions can provide the kind of reaction from others that reinforce staying away from deeper emotional contact. This happens. Man, Gypsy Goddess would be a Patriot fan, but anyways, this happens to a lot of individuals, especially individuals on the left-hand path. Let me explain what I mean by that. Individuals tend to shut down their emotions because they're in an experimental stage of life. And what I mean by that is a lot of people join the left-hand path because they're claustrophobic in life. What I mean by that is they're in a closet, in their closed environment, restrictive relationships, restrictive whatever the case may be, that they've learned to shut down their emotions and kind of go through life with emotions locked down. What happens is you're doing yourself a disservice because your passion emanates as well from emotions. And you have to understand that on the left-hand path, you should be focused on living your passion, your desires, whether it's financial success, whether it's traveling the world, whatever the case may be. If your emotions are tied or locked down in the heart chakra, it's going to be very difficult for you to enjoy life. Luciferians enjoy life. People on the left-hand path, whatever path they choose on the left hand, are passionate about their life, enjoying life in every which way you can imagine. But we do it with discipline and self-control. We don't do it to get buck wild and have no sense of control and then get back in a situation where you're hurt, betrayed, used, abused, or anything else. This is the fear of people who have a closed heart chakra. And unfortunately, it is true. This society we live in today, most people's heart chakra is totally closed. They don't understand unconditional love. Unconditional love does not mean loving to the point you get shafted up the butt without grease. That's not unconditional love. That's stupidity. Unconditional love is you may find someone you really love or care about, and you don't put the same expectations you would on people that you have in the past. One of the most important aspects of a relationship that deals with failure in a relationship is unrealistic expectations put on each other. For example, men have a habit of thinking that a woman does not look at other men or has no desires to be with other men because they think they're dicking her down. Now, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And the reason why I can tell you that is because as a human being, you're always going to have attractions to others outside of your own relationship. Religion, conditioning, society, family has made us think that these things are wrong or evil if a woman looks or desires or fantasizes about another man besides her mate, husband, or whatever you want to call the dude, or your female, whatever the hell you in a relationship, whatever kind. People think that's wrong. You have to discipline yourself not to look. Listen, eye candy is everywhere. You can look without getting savage. And what I mean by that is you can look with respect without going, yo, baby, yo, ma, all that stupid shit. No. Okay? You can look with respect. It doesn't mean you have to start acting like a savage, beating your chest and doing all this craziness. All right? But you have to be real. And one of the things that we not, especially melanated people, is we're not real about ourselves. And what I mean is that we're not real that we are attracted to other people. We're not real that sometimes we even desire, fantasize about other people. We don't keep it real when it comes to that, y'all. So this is why a lot of our relationships tend to fail, because we don't keep things real. We keep things lost. We keep things gone. We keep things in some spooked out sense of mentality. And what that does is that it leads to failures in relationships. And then we close our heart, and then we don't want to experience relationships again. But relationships are simply, the root of the word is to relate. How do you relate to someone else? Okay, it's not all this added verbiage that we put into the word relationship, the love, the caring, all this. Okay, it's simply to learn how to relate to someone. And if that's going to be your partner in a marriage or whatever the case may be, then you should be able to relate to that person on all levels. And if you're not able to, then stop lying to yourself and stop being in a relationship. Okay, that just means you may be a failure in relationships. That just means you suck at relationships, and you need to really find out your weaknesses when it comes to interacting with social interaction with other people. Okay, so keep those things in mind as you move forward, because if you're not focused on those weaknesses that we're discovering, the dark side or the shadow side that we're discovering going through these chakras, then when we get into the next phase that's coming up in once we finish these, on how to use it in a vampiric sense, or how to use it on the left-hand path of Tantra, Vama Marga, or Kaala, okay, then it can backfire on you, okay? It can become something detrimental. So this is why we're going over this, so you can focus on the shadow side of the chakras. Everybody wants to focus on the lovely side of the chakras, the pretty side. Nobody wants to focus on the shadow side that needs to be brought attention to overcome your weaknesses, so you can bring harmony and integration to all aspects of yourself. So let's move on to the fifth chakra. Fifth, or Visuddha chakra, the throat chakra. Here you express yourself, listen within and without, and raise your potential to help others through communication. Key phrases of the fifth chakra is communication, self-expression, listening, clarity, knowledge, integrity, truth, and scholarship. Physical location is throat and neck, mouth, and ears. Endocrine gland is the thyroid. Astrological link is Jupiter. Day of the week is Thursday. Element is Akasha. Sense is sound. In Sanskrit, Visuddhi is purification. The massage, you can massage your neck and jaw area. Now let's go to the dark side of this chakra. Issues and challenges. Not seeking power or boosting your ego through your words or their absence. not gossiping or spending so much time on the computer or texting or TV. Focus on topics that take you away from obtaining deeper states of inner awareness. The negative side of the fifth chakra may be mild, as in someone who simply has not developed the ability to communicate well, or deadly, as in a leader convincing people that they should commit acts against humanity. At the everyday level, you may think, what if I say things poorly, or I can't get my point across, or if people won't like what I say? In your body, this can take the form of anxious, tight jaw or throat, or even holding your breath. Or if you're telling a story, retelling a story you've told many times before, if you were playing a recording, you might be talking at your listeners rather than connecting with them. Now, there's individuals that may feel that their communication skills are suffering. This may be any individual on this chat. This may be any individual you come across in life, where you feel your words don't have power, where you feel that you don't know how to really express yourself. That can be a problem, because then it leads to a lot of repressed feelings, emotions, and thoughts. And those repressions can lead to adverse effects. Anything you resist will persist. So if you don't express yourself or communicate yourself when you're unhappy, when people are doing things that may be hurtful to you, and you just let it keep sliding, then eventually what's going to happen is all that repression is going to come out, and it may come out in absurd ways that are more detrimental to you than not even expressing yourself. Meaning, it's going to come out in a way where it can come out harsh, it can come out aggressive, which then leads to more conflicts between individuals, which then can lead to physical violence, etc., etc., etc. So it's important that you start focusing on being able to express yourself. From walking this path for many years, doing these lectures for years, one thing I can tell you is people on average have trouble expressing themselves. Women have trouble expressing themselves because they've been suppressed by a lot of people. Men have trouble expressing themselves because they're afraid to be judged. So what happens is we're walking around repressed human beings on all levels, and you wonder why there's so much craziness in the world. Because we can't communicate properly. We can't express ourselves, so we hold everything in, and then it explodes like a ticking time bomb. So this can be very adverse to individuals, especially walking their path. Exactly, Allure Kush Goddess. Express yourself, do what you want to do. All right? And NWA, back in the days, had a song, Express Yourself. All right? I don't know if some of y'all remember. Yes, I'm tipping my age, and I don't give a damn. But anyways, they utilize that song also to state that it's important that you express yourself. All right? Go back and listen to that. Now, let's go into the sixth chakra. So that we can get into the juicier aspects of what we really want to talk about tonight. Sixth, or Ajna chakra, which is your brow chakra, or the third eye chakra. In the sixth chakra, you transcend normal abilities and can see into others, life, situations, and yourself. Key phrases: intuition, meditative and self-awareness, mental and emotional clarity, truth, combines knowing, acting, and feeling, balances and integrates masculine and feminine qualities, physical location, the point between the eyebrows, center of forehead, endocrine gland, pituitary or pineal, light sensitive, regulates sleeping and waking. Astrological link is Saturn. Day of the week is Saturday. This chakra, by the way, is real interesting to note that this chakra, the sixth chakra, relates to the sixth day, which is Saturn, which relates to Saturday, which relates to Baun or Baron Semdi, who wears a top hat, which is a symbol of self-mastery, and your third eye being open in the lodge, a Freemasonic lodge, who stands in the east where the sun appears to rise. Anyways, so when you work with this chakra, especially on a Saturday, you're invoking the Saturnalia energy, okay? Which is a life and death energy, more keen to the necromantic energy or death current, but also linked to the life or sex current, okay? Which is Baun Semdi or Baron Semdi's connection to this chakra. Interesting to note that, all right? Element is Mahat, or the essence of all other elements. Sense is intuition. Sanskrit derivation is ajna, which is order or command. If you want to massage, you massage your forehead, your ears, sides of the heads, and between here and here, okay? Let's deal with the dark side of this aspect. We all know the nice side. Let's deal with the shadow aspect that we must master. Issues and challenges, clinging to mental wandering and daydreaming. Attachment to powers, imagining, telling others that no one is more enlightened than one really is. Wow. Sounds like people in the conscious community than me, buddy. How many people in the conscious community do y'all personally know swear that they know it all? Swear that they're the most enlightened, the most supreme, yet they ain't got a pot to piss in, working at McDonald's in mama's basement. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who proclaim to be so profound, that know it all, like Nature Boy. Please. Please, people. All right? There's always someone who wants to claim they're the master of it all. Follow me, listen to me, I'm supreme, master, whatever. Stay away from the people. Run as fast as you can when you hear those people, because most of them are going to lead you to a path of destruction. All right? All right, so what else? The negative side of the Ajna chakra can take the form of either deficiency or overexpression of its qualities. Deficiencies includes being insensitive to others, blocking our awareness of their feelings and inclinations, and most people, this inner eye remains closed. Says Swami Satyananda Saraswati, and though they see the events of the outside world, knowledge and understanding of truth cannot be gained. In this sense, we are blind to the real possibilities of the world, unable to view the deeper levels of human existence. It's easy to fall into misinterpretation or projection. Your biases, preferences, and prejudices, we all have some, may cause your intuition to be wrong or cause you to draw mistaken conclusions about others' meanings and motives. Now, this is really, really important right there, because one of the things that people don't use a lot that I've noticed walking this path is sound right reasoning. They don't use their reasoning skills, which is based upon logic, which is coming from common sense. Now, most people think they have common sense, but in reality, no, they don't. Okay? Individuals struggle with common sense. Things that are very common that should make sense to all really doesn't. Okay? Not only that, but as the individual here says, we lead or have a lot of misinterpretations, or we project a lot of our biases onto people. Ask yourself, what are your biases? What are you biased about? Because your biasness can limit you. Can limit you on this path. What do I mean by that? If you're biased about certain things, then there's certain borders, boundaries, that you're not going to explore or pass through and break because of your biasness. Okay? You have to really pay attention to that fact. What are you biased about? We all have them. Okay? I try to address mine every day, and they come up in rituals and life situations, things like that. What are you biased about? Okay? And then ask yourself, am I biased because I'm repressing something about that's found within myself and I don't want to associate with that aspect? Or am I biased because of conditioning from other individuals? It's important to explore this part of yourself, especially walking this left-hand path. It's very important to explore those things, okay? I'll give you examples. People's sexual preferences. A person's sexual preference is just that. Their preference has nothing to do with you, but yet we feel offended or are biased towards individuals who have a certain sexual preference that is not considered the norm, okay? Now, we then judge all those individuals as being a certain way and never interact with these individuals who may have insight, who may have certain wisdom and knowledge because of what they've gone through that can help you on your path. Okay, that's just a small example. Me personally, I don't give a damn what your sexual preference is. Okay, you can like what you like, sleep with what you sleep with. I'm not there with you, so I could care less what you're doing, but I'm not going to judge you for that. Everything in every place and every situation has its purpose in life. Okay? Whether you like it or accept it or not, that's your personal bias or prejudice that you personally have to deal with. But on the left-hand path, you should focus on those biases and prejudices to overcome them because they can limit you. They can hold you back, okay? They can stop you from certain states of transformation because of that. Like, for example, Credo Mutwa, the Zulu shaman, right, from South Africa. He discussed how in some of the initiation and rituals, he had to do things that were kind of shocking, so to speak, okay, that were deemed homosexual in acts. Now, if he was prejudiced or biased, he would have stopped himself from whatever he had to go through to get to the level that he is today. Whether you accept that or not, that's your personal prejudice or bias you personally have to deal with, okay? But understand, he had to look at that himself in his journey, and confronting that was able to make a decision. Was the wisdom and knowledge more important than my limited biasness or prejudice that I may have? You understand? These are things that you personally have to focus on and accept that they may be limiting you as we speak. It's not, put it this way, you limit yourself by these things, so you should focus on overcoming these things. All right? All right, let's go to the last chakra on the traditional chakra information and path. The seventh, or the Sahasrara chakra, the crown chakra, or the 1,000-petaled lotus. That's right, Necro Canon. You should always create your own initiations. You should always walk your own path. Self-initiation is the most powerful initiation. Take it from an individual who's had different initiations in different organizations and orders. The self-initiation is the most powerful initiation of them all. And any true initiation should lead you to facing the self and mastering the self. If it's not focused on that, then you might need to check further into what you're into and get out of it, okay? The crown chakra, 1,000-petaled chakra. Crown chakra consciousness transcends most everyday concerns and brings the divine spirit into feeling, thought, and action. Key phrases are joy, bliss, and unity. consciousness as an everyday mind state, awakening to the inner self, non-attachment, truth and beauty, universal brother and sisterhood, identification with all beings, the guru within, physical location, cerebral plexus, endocrine gland, pineal, astrological link, Ketu, day of the week, Monday, element beyond elements, Sanskrit derivation, Sahasrara is 1,000-petaled. Massage your scalp and crown of the head. Let's go to the negative or dark side aspects, as people would say. And then we're going to get into the juicy aspect. The vampiric understanding of the chakras and the left-hand path Tantra understanding of the chakras, or Vama Marga as it's called, okay? And we're going to delve deeper into the aspect of the left-hand path of Tantra, not just dealing with the chakras, but go deeper into it, all right? So if you're ready to take that journey, leave the prejudice and biasness alone, put it to the side. Before we get there, shake it off, because we're going in, all right? So first, let's finish this up. Dark side of the seventh chakra, issues and challenges. Thinking you're most enlightened than you actually are. Sounds familiar. Forgetting others' needs in your own quest for illumination. When you stand in sunlight at noon on a cloudless day, there is no darkness. Well, I beg to differ. There's always darkness. It's just blinded by the bright light of the sun, but darkness is still there. Even your shadow is temporarily invisible. Similarly, being awake in the seventh chakra is something like standing in the zenith of your own inner light. However, even the seventh chakra has a dark side. Everything has a dark side. A person who's trying to awaken their seventh chakra can get lost in their psyche's shadows while falsely thinking he or she has attained greater illumination than he or she really has. Unfailingly, the false ego blocks such people from reaching mastery of the self and holds them prisoner in their wandering mind and wayward emotions. Okay? This is very important. Go on YouTube at any point in time and listen to how many people claim to be a master. Now, if any of you all ever ask me, am I a master? I'll say, hell no, no to the no. The only thing I am a master of is myself. I do not and will never want to be a master over anybody else. That's not my goal in life. My goal in life is this: self-mastery, self-development, self-growth here, okay? And those paths and the journeys I've taken, I share with you all, hoping that it may spark something in you that you also can share with me in things that you've also walked in your path. That's all. I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm Master Shri Rara and claim that I know all this ish when I don't. Because a true master really knows this one truth. I know nothing. As much as I know, I still know nothing, okay? So always remember that when you're walking on this path in particular. This path can lead to ego delusions. This path can lead to ego delusions, okay? So if you are still flaking out in your mind about your superiority, humble yourself and realize I'm not a master of all. I'm a master of self. Understand? I'm a master of self. That's all that your focus should be on, is mastering self. Okay? Period. Now, let's get into the juicy aspects, because I know that's what some of y'all really want to hear. So let's finish. We did the 2 chakras for the vampiric chakra and Luciferian understanding of chakras, okay, on the left-hand path. Now, we're going to do the rest. Chakra 3, the navel chakra. Black flame of consciousness. Ego identity oriented to self-deification. This chakra is known as the power located in the solar plexus. As a vampire, the devouring aspect is drains from ego and builds the essence of self from a conscious level. The non-devouring or self-work is consciousness and empowerment of self, understanding the sense of I. The fourth chakra, or the heart chakra, on the left-hand path, vampiric aspect, represents air, social identity, oriented to self-acceptance. This chakra is called the heart chakra and is the middle chakra in a system of 7. This chakra relates to Andar and the path of rebellion and spiritually distant working. Devouring, draining energy in crowds or social situations. The ability to focus and pull in chi or energy through focus, even in distracting situations. Building self-awareness and self-love. The non-devouring aspect or the self-work. The balance of opposites, darkness and light. Ego, high articulation. Intelligence, Luciferian angel. Demonic aspects, carnal instincts. And the Ahrimanic demon. Chakra 5, or the throat chakra. Sound and the power of the voice. Creative identity oriented to self-expression. This is the chakra located in the throat and is thus related to communication, seduction through voice, creativity. Here we experience the world symbolically through vibrations, such as the vibration of sound, representing language, or the Staora ritual. Devouring, seduction by voice. Use this in vampiric rituals. Vibrate sounds in the black mirror to seduce and send forth the vampiric tendrils. Well, let me stop right here. If you've been told, now peoples, some of y'all been told that you have a seductive voice, that's your power. And you're emanating from the throat chakra power. As a vampire, this is a power to really utilize in your workings. Not only does it allow you to express yourself, but it also allows you to use your voice in seduction. Anybody who knows anything about the sound of things knows that a voice can be very soothing and seductive and hypnotic. So if you know this, focus on utilizing it. Learn how to intone words properly, using intonation properly, okay? Learn how to raise your voice and then lower your voice at certain particular moments in time. This is your gift. Use it well. Because if you don't, it can backfire on you. All right? Non-devouring. Okay, so let me finish. Devouring, seduction by voice. Use this in vampiric rituals. Vibrate sounds in the black mirror to seduce and send forth your vampiric tendrils. Non-devouring, self-work, sound, voice, seduction, and persuasion. The third eye chakra. Chakra 6, light as the black flame. Archetypal identity oriented to individual power. This chakra is known as the brow chakra, third eye center. It is related to the act of seeing both physically and instinctually. Devouring, tapping into another's consciousness. This is very powerful method in vampiric magic. I advise to don't use it unless you're ready to hear what's in somebody's mind, because you will start hearing and it might not be what you thought. So if you really want to use this aspect of the Ajna chakra, the third eye chakra, using your vampiric magic, be ready. because this is also a method you use to plant a thought into an individual's head. Let's say you're in a situation and you're going to meet some investors for a business. You focus on their third eye, and the whole time that they're speaking to you, you focus looking in their eye and their third eye, and you're sending forth thoughts into their mind as to what investment amount you would like them to put in. Okay? And you keep doing this the whole time the meeting is taking place, over and over and over. What happens is you're actually tapping into their consciousness, and you're able to plant seeds in their mind and be able to receive exactly what you want. All right? So tapping into another's consciousness, third eye as vampire, drinking from the Ajna chakra brings an elevated level of power in sleeping. Non-devouring or self-work, reading thoughts through body language, divinatory workings. Chakra 7, the crown chakra. Self-knowledge and identity. This is the crown chakra that relates to consciousness as pure awareness, the power of self as God, you as God. It is a connection to the greater world beyond, to a timeless immortal spirit. Devouring achieves ease of identity. Hunger becomes greater if not balanced. Draining should be conducted in deep sleep cycles. Non-devouring self-work, wisdom, Luciferian will, balance, spiritual insight from experience with the Luciferic angel or higher intellect. Now, this is the vampiric workings of the chakra. I reversed it because in a vampiric sense, in the left-hand path, your chakras actually operate from the top down, not from the bottom up. But in the traditional sense, we do it from the bottom up, okay? Or from the root to the crown. It's different when you're on the left-hand path. You work from the top down or from the crown to the root. I just reversed it just for understanding so it correlates to what we're speaking about in a traditional sense. But in the left-hand path form of Tantra, especially Kali Kaola, okay, which is a tantric path, let me go into that. And now for this aspect, we're going to be coming from the book Tantric Kali by Daniel O'Dour. All right, secret practices and rituals. If you have the actual physical book, you're gonna actually go to page 82. All right, and in this aspect, okay, this aspect of left-hand path Tantra, we start from the crown down. Why? In left-hand path Tantra, listen to the word, left hand, means we're going against the norm. The norm of chakra understanding and knowledge is root to crown. Left-hand path, we reverse everything. So on the tantric path, left-hand path tantric path, said it twice, but anyways, the left-hand path Tantra, we reverse it and start from the crown to the root. So right now we're going to go further into, as you practice left-hand path Tantra and you meditate on your chakras, okay, you're going to understand the different attributes that can be achieved and utilized working Tantra, okay? Meditating on the chakras, focusing on the power of the chakras, not just in a vampiric sense, but now in a tantric sense. So let's begin, all right? The first chakra is the fontanel chakra, also known as the root. It actually sits right here on top of your head, the baby soft spot of your head, okay? The fontanel chakra, the color of opalescent crystal, corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Kisa, or KSA. The first chakra bestows the power to unite with the yoginis, or yoginis. The power to make oneself small, and effective achievement in meditation and sadhana. Chakra 2, the chakra in the middle of the forehead. Not here, here in the middle. This is different because in the left-hand path of Tantra, there's 8 chakras, not 7 chakras, 8. So there's the crown, then there's the one in the middle, then there's the brow chakra. So we're dealing with the middle chakra right here in the middle of your forehead. Some of y'all got bigger foreheads, so you're able to find it easier, like myself, all right? So anyway, the chakra in the middle of the forehead, the color of pure flame, corresponds to the Sanskrit letter La. With meditation on the second chakra, you gain the power to mesmerize all beings. You can mesmerize, hypnotize all beings. The ability to break or project objects at a distance, and the ability to subjugate others. This is not some ish they're going to teach you on traditional chakras, y'all. This is some ish that we learn and discover walking the left-hand path because it's against the norm and against tradition. We develop certain psychic powers and abilities and attributes. And if you dig deep enough and research enough, you understand what these powers or hidden attributes are, which some of this is relating to the vampiric chakras and the Luciferian chakras and our understanding of that on the left-hand path. So with the middle chakra of the brow, you can gain the power to mesmerize or hypnotize all beings. We just talked about that. The ability to break or project objects at a distance, and the ability to subjugate others. Make them your servants. All right, chakra 3, the chakra between the eyebrows. The color of diamond corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Ha. Whoever practices frequently the method of the third great chakra can subtly slip into someone else's body. In addition, he or she is able to see the future. You can slip, dip, slide into someone else's body, however the hell you want to say it. Okay? Some of y'all have ever felt the presence of another person, and then this presence seems to consume and almost take over you for a moment. That's someone who might have projected themselves to you, observed you long enough, and then slipped into your body for whatever purpose necessary. You can do this if you focus on meditating on your chakras, not just this fluffy light shit, not just using crystals and all this lovely new age chakra crap that they're trying to promote. This is the hidden aspects of the chakras that utilize and talked about and shared on the left-hand path of Tantra and left-hand path Luciferian and vampiric work. Chakra 4, the chakra of the palate in the mouth. That's right, you have a chakra in the palate in your mouth. Pink in color corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Sa. The fourth chakra is the provider of powers of calming, liberation, and voluptuousness. If you venerate this chakra, you become capable of instantaneously paralyzing another person. You attain the power of invisibility and the power of listening to conversations. All the shit we do in vampiric magic, we just do it in the astral plane. Yeah. Chakra 5, the chakra at the base of the throat. The color of smoke corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Sa. By meditating on the fifth great chakra, you are able to express yourself like a rishi, to move about like the wind, and to bring someone's conversation to a halt. Chakra 6, the chakra of the heart. The color of liquid gold corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Sa once again. The sixth chakra bestows teaching, power, and freedom. Chakra 7, The chakra of the navel, the color of the full moon, corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Va. Whoever conducts his sadhana on the seventh chakra obtains the power to enslave others. He or she displays the ability to paralyze, to subjugate others, and to free him or herself from the chains of samsara. Chakra 8, the perineal or sexual chakra, the color of red gold, corresponds to the Sanskrit letter Hila. The 8th chakra allows anyone to cause death and to travel far away. Also bestows the power to generate paralysis and illusion in others. He who resides in a great chakra is the beloved of the yoginis. Meditation to set the 8 chakras in motion. To render homage and set the wheel chakras in motion, you should practice this. You should always meditate on the 8 chakras using a beautiful and intense luminous flame that you move 8 times through 8 of the centers. Through your own will, you will become the Lord of Breath, which is capable of causing enthusiasm by being unified with Kankuki Devi herself. All right? That's in the left-hand path, that's called the black flame, okay? Which is the black flame of consciousness. If you visualize a black flame, you can actually send this black flame, create it into a ball, a vibrating, humming black flame, black violet light of flame. You could actually send it to each chakra, and you meditate on each chakra. You'll start the rotation of each of those chakras. In time, the more you practice this, the more you're able to encompass some of these powers. Okay? These powers are in India and Sanskrit are called the siddhas. Okay? And the people who master those powers are called the siddhis. Okay? So understand you have this ability to utilize this on a left-hand path. But he said there's something that should be utilized. It's called the sadhana. Okay? Now, what is the sadhana? All right. This is coming from Yoni Tantra. That's right. It's called Yoni Tantra, people. Translated by Michael McGee. You can actually find this on PDF. All right? Or you could ask me and I'll send it to you. In the introduction, this is where it starts. Okay? The sadhana. The sadhana is key, okay, to actually helping activate your chakras and attaining these attributes or powers. This is where left-hand path Tantra comes into play. Now, let's begin. Many Western commentators have alleged that the secret sadhana was veiled by a twilight language. But the Yoni Tantra explodes this myth. Kaolas were the unlikeliest folk to mince words in consumption of the Yoni Tattva. The Yoni Tattva is a mixture of the menses and the semen. Is here described in the clearest of terms. Whilst ritual sexual intercourse is often alluded to in Kaola and Sri Tantras, there are only a few of these in which Yoni Tattva is mentioned. Yoni Tantra could be described as a eulogy of the Yoni and a Yoni Tattva. For all those who may not be familiar, but I'm sure all of you are familiar, the Yoni is the vagina, the womb, the good. All right? Anyways, let's continue. In Kaola Agma, the 5 pure and eternal substances are ash, your wife's nectar, if you're married, or you have a female partner, your wife's nectar, semen, and the wife's nectar is her sexual fluid, by the way, the man's semen, the menstrual blood, and the ghee are mixed together. The ghee you can find in a lot of Indian restaurants. In occasional rites and in acts of Kama Siddhi, The great discharge is without doubt and most certainly what one should do in Kala Agama or Agama. One should always consume the physical blood and semen. Dearest one, this is the oblation of the yoginis and the yogis and the siddhas. It goes on to say, a Brahmin goes to heaven by endless washing of the feet and mouth, whereas a person repeatedly making a forehead mark of Kunda, Gola, or Udbhava, menses, destroys various ailments such as leprosy and smallpox and is free from all disease in the same way that a serpent sloughs its skin. Goes on to say, blood is the female, it's the Vama, it's the elixir. So when you hear Vama Marga, you're basically saying the elixir, which is the blood or the menses of a female, mixed with wine and semen. It is the absolute elixir of life. Yeah, some call it the Amrita. Some of y'all may have heard of this. Sri Sankara said, the fears or the furs, menses appearing in a woman who has lost her virginity is Savayambu, blood. In a maiden born of a married woman and begotten by another man, that which arises is Kunda menses, the substance causing the granting of any desire. A Devesi, a maiden begotten by a widow, gives rise to Gola menses, which subdues gods. The menses arising in the first period after a virgin becomes a married woman is the all-bewildering Sabupshpa. The very first chapter of the MT mentions a substance called Sambal, described in the commentary as a woman's menstrual discharge. This substance allowed the tantric adept to perform various sorts of alchemical operations. And again, it says, optionally, the yogini and the yogi may secrete or not secrete. If the yogi has his mind solely on pleasure, if he does, he should lick the lotus on his knees. Yes, the lotus is the yoni or the vagina. And he should eat with his tongue the white and red of the lotus. And he should inhale it through a pipe in the nose to increase his power. Yeah, folks. So, when we deal with the left-hand aspect of Tantra, we're dealing with the power of the chakras, which is the hidden powers, that one of the forms of activating those chakras is the elixir. Now, this may seem strange to some of y'all. Some of y'all know, because some of y'all are some freaky ass perverts. It's all good. But some of y'all who may find this a little strange, on the left-hand path, we do strange things. We explore and break borders and boundaries. We understand the Amrita, or the elixir of life. Okay, in Kemet, they had something similar, okay, which was symbolic of the red wine and the white wine. Okay, the white wine was the semen. The red wine was symbolic of Aset or Ast and her menses. The white wine is symbolic of Asar. And the two were created or combined to create an elixir of life of transformation. Now, am I telling you to go get busy and go do this? No. But this is just one aspect of chakras and one aspect of the left-hand path. You utilize or choose what you feel you're connected to. I, on the other hand, cannot tell you what to do. I know what I do. And that's all I know. All right? So keep that in mind. So let's continue and add more insight. In Vama Marga, okay, Despite the Eastern Vamamarga's reverence for the feminine demonic, which is an important aspect that we have to understand. I haven't done videos on a demonic feminine energy in quite some time, but the demonic feminine energy, the true self, the higher self, the demonic, the genius self, that feminine or feminine energy is found in all human beings. More abundant in a female gender being, of course, but men also have it. The goal of Vamamarga or left hand path Tantra is to activate the demonic feminine within you, regardless of gender, and integrate it with the masculine, or as some say, the Shiva and the Shakti. Okay? By working on your chakras and activating the energy of the chakras, the Kundalini is awakened. The Kundalini will then, the red serpent, female serpent, or the female energy, the black serpent, masculine, will start to intertwine until they reach the bindi or the bindu or that middle part of the forehead and bring knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and energy and power on another level. African sciences do this on a regular, but there's one problem with the African sciences, okay? This is not dissing our shit, it's just a reality. When you are at a bembe, when you're doing drumming rituals and things, you are automatically feeling the Kundalini rising. Most African dances are centered in the root and navel chakra. Pay attention to this, y'all. Watch videos or go dancing yourself if you're a dancer and notice how most of the music is centered on hitting the sexual, the root and the navel chakra area. And a lot of African dancers are focused on moving the hips, whether it's salsa, okay? It's hip movement. Whether it's soca, continuous hip movement. Whether it's merengue, continuous hip movement. Whether it's dancehall reggae and moving to the rhythm of dancehall reggae, it's hip movements. I could go on and on and on. Okay? Most of the dances are focused on hip movements. Okay? So pay attention to that fact. As the drums continue and they reach an ecstatic pace, the Kundalini rises and reaches the crown. The one negative of African sciences is they haven't learned to master keeping it in the crown. So it goes right back down at the end of a ritual, at the end of a drumming ritual, etc., etc., etc. That's one of the weaknesses of African sciences. It's not a big negative, but it is something that if you're seeking to raise the Kundalini and keep it in the crown, can be a disservice. So this is why in the left-hand path, you travel and explore all levels of knowledge and wisdom and consciousness in different paths to bring a combination of all of these things into one. You have a puzzle of your life, and you must find the pieces of that puzzle to bring it together. No one can do that for you. You can walk any path, as myself did. I've walked many different paths, from Santeria to Rosicrucian, Freemasonry, to Tantra, to different paths, all leading to this one day in time where I would learn to take all of those things and merge it into one. Okay? Merge it into one for my puzzle to be put together, my pieces to be put together. My piece of the puzzle may not be the same as yours. I also walked the Sufi path. I was a Sufi for years. I still sometimes dikka, okay? I still use some of the 99 attributes of Allah. There's a difference. On the left-hand path, I'm the God, so I am Allah, which means that the 5% is word correct in their understanding. Although they transliterated it, Arabic word into English, understand the symbolism behind it. arm, lega, arm, head. I'm the master. I'm the God over self. So my pieces of the puzzles will not equate to yours, but your pieces will equate for you when you do your traveling. And never let anybody tell you that your pieces are wrong. Because what you need is what you need. Some of y'all all of a sudden may be attracted to Nordic shit and you African. You like, yo, what the hell is this? Then you find out through DNA you have at least 5% from Sweden or Norway or some shit. Well, that 5% may not seem a lot, but it's strong enough to make you gravitate to wanting to learn about Thor and Loki and Odin and things of that nature. That's DNA. When it explodes and goes off, it goes off. So you have to find these pieces. But the main goal is to bring yourself to a conscious awareness of a higher level and self-mastery. Bring in the integration of the masculine and the feminine into one. One. Okay? You as the master over all of that. So the demonic feminine, you have to understand, unfortunately, in this path or any other path, this path does a little better. But unfortunately, in most paths, we don't pay attention to the demonic feminine energy. Female magicians don't receive a lot of instruction. This is one of the things that I try to do. It's not that I'm shunning the brothers, but I'm going to share what the woman should have gotten from others long ago that we are taught in certain orders of different things, the things I can share without breaking my vows of secrecy. I'm going to share that shit. Because women need this shit. They need this knowledge that has been held far from them. If you go the Eastern Stars, you getting a little shit, but that's about it. You're not getting all of it. They're not going to give you a lot because the Eastern Star was basically created for you to be a handmaiden to the Master Masons. That's about it. Okay? You'll get some knowledge, but not enough to strike out on your own and be the goddess over yourself. All right? So understand that's one of the important is the rites, rituals to bring forth the integration between the masculine and the feminine. Most of the tantras or the tantric scriptures speak about mostly to a male initiate. Rarely do they go into the female initiate. But it's time for that to change. That's what the left-hand path is about. Flipping it to bring forth that demonic feminine. Flipping it so the women get the knowledge and let them run this world after we done men messed it up for so long. I didn't say we're going to bow down and we're going to worship like little sissies. That's not what I said, all right? If you're a man, you're still going to be a man, but you're going to be like, all right, I understand this on a whole nother level. Take over this shit, all right? So, all right, let's begin. Avama Marga, path of many roads. The phrases Tantra and left-hand path have been used so indiscriminately in recent years, especially since the 60s, okay? Tantra has been so new-aged and mixed with all this crap that it got far away from what it's really about. Now you have people who are tantric escorts, doing tantric lap dancing, all this shit that was never there before. It's fucking ridiculous. All right? Understand. The leftwardness of the left-hand path is such a seemingly obvious part of our subject that is often simply overlooked or taken for granted. For every once in a while, we've been asked, so why is the left-hand path left anyway? Like many apparently easy questions, the answer is surprisingly complex. Since it has frequently been wondered if there is any link between the leftwardness of the Vama Marga and the political designation left wing. No, there's not a link. Trust me. So there is a difference insofar as the left-hand path is the path of living the taboo, but seeing the sacred in everything. What do I mean by that? What's considered taboo to you? may be the very thing you need to indulge in if you see the sacredness in that process. Meaning, realize in every experience there is some knowledge or wisdom that you will, if you go into it, gain from that experience. It will allow you to wake the hell up. It will allow you to focus on that part of yourself that you've been neglecting. Focus on what those taboos are. Make a list of them. And start seeing which ones you want to or need to partake in for your self-development. And understand there's sacredness in everything. Meaning what you see as sacred, what you by sacred I mean what you see as an opportunity to gain knowledge and wisdom and power. And whatever that is, do not let anybody lead you astray and say it's wrong. It is what it is. You find what is necessary for you. But find out what your taboos are and go into it. See, I'll give you an example. In the left-hand path Tantra, the elixir of life, the mixing of the menses and the sperm. Okay, or the semen, sorry, not the sperm, the semen, but it's in the semen. All right, anyways. To us in the West, that may seem like a strange thing. It may seem totally wrong. But is it? It's not. But to us, it seems taboo. But it may be the very thing you need to walk into, experience for your conscious awakening on another level. Okay? It is going into that part of yourself that you find the most restrictive, part of yourself that you determine to be the wrong, the part of yourself that you say, oh, I can't possibly do that, may be the part of yourself that you really need to focus on. Let me go over this last part real quick before we take questions. Shakti and the feminine demonic. Perhaps even more essential to the left-hand path and its sinister direction is the fact that the word Vama carries an alternate meaning of woman. The Vama Marga is actually the path of women. In fact, the Vama Marga seems to have been known as the path of woman long before it was interrupted or interpreted as the way of the left, the opposite of the right-hand path. This definition gets at the heart of this approach to initiation, focused as it is on the feminine demonic of Shakti in all of her forms. And one of the forms of Shakti is Kali. Some tantric scholars have surmised that the sexually oriented left-hand path was actually the first tantric school, while the right-hand path only developed as a much later, watered-down, non-sexual version of the older system of initiation. Some of the earliest tantric texts or tantras do not speak of a right-hand path at all, but describe all of tantra as the way of woman. Therefore, many tantric teachers continue to refer to the entire tantric tradition as the left-hand path. This idea has been advanced among other tantric historians. Supporting this theory of the primacy of the sexual left-hand path to the chaste right-hand path is the fact that the word Kaola was originally used to describe the entire tantric school. Kaola is also the name of one of the oldest left-hand path sexual clans originating in northern India. As we have already stated, crucial to all tantric doctrine and practice, but especially to Vama Marga, is the recognition of Shakti, of the cosmic femininity as the central initiatory power. Indeed, the very word means power. Shakti is not conceived of as a remote goddess inhabiting some distant sphere or an abstract philosophical archetype. Rather, she is understood to be divine force that incarnates in living woman. For left-hand path adepts, the female body is the temple of the divine force, quickening the visible universe. Her vulva or yoni is regarded as the altar in which Shakti's electrifying energy is most vigorous. However, this feminine principle is by no means limited to biological females alone. Tantrics regard the level of personal force and power demonstrated within an individual of either sex to be a consequence of the quantity of Shakti they possess. Furthermore, an important aspect of Tantrism for male Tantric adepts is the endeavor to arouse the spiritual female within, as I said earlier. To a certain extent, the entire physical universe of transient matter is the manifestation of Shakti. Consequently, the left-hand path adept does not disdain the physical world, as we're taught to do by these spooky wookies and these conscious coon craps. Consequently, the left-hand path adept does not disdain the physical world, as is so common in standard spiritual practice. The physical world is viewed as the very route to illumination, most directly through sexual veneration of Shakti in the form of a human female. Based on this premise, left-hand path sexual tantra teaches that the actual manipulation of carnal ecstasy in the physical body is the principal tool of initiation. All right? Male initiates of the left-hand path so emulate Shakti that they seek to literally awaken her within their own bodies and psyches. The left-hand path adept understands that women are gifted with mysterious innate talent for magic, for divination, and other black arts. It's been said in a lot of paths, by the way, on a side note, that the woman is the original magician, and the men had to learn to be a magician. That's what has been said in some paths. I'll let y'all discover that for yourself. The bridge between the Scandinavian tradition of the vulva, the female seer, and the serpentine female oracles of ancient Greece reveals the archaic understanding that magical power is intrinsically feminine in nature. This is why women have intuitive abilities. They know when a dude is lying. Brothers will act like they can't get caught in their lie. I know most brothers who've been doing some foul-ish, she caught them eventually. But brothers can't hold water. This is why you get caught, because you don't know how to hold secrecy. You go running your mouth. Eventually, she gonna figure this out. Damn shame. Anyways. Consequently, males of the left-hand path strive to integrate some of this feminine essence within themselves, a practice not confined only to India. Shamans in almost every culture, for instance, traditionally take on certain female attributes to propel them on their visionary journeys. This is connecting to what I said earlier about Credo Mutua, who was a male gendered being. However, in his path to become a shaman of his tribe, he had to learn to tap into the feminine, even if it was in a sense an act that was considered not normal. Okay? Because most shamans, whether they were male or female, but particularly I'm speaking about males, had to learn to integrate the masculine and feminine spirits within them, or the two spirits, as is said in certain Native American tribes. In certain African tribes, like the Dagara, and Patrice Mulidoma Some speaks about the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are men or women who are gendered as a male or female, but have the sense of the opposite sex that can dominate. So if it's a male gendered being, he may have the feminine energy strong in him and find himself, even though he's married to a woman, find himself attracted to a man. But in essence, his spirit is that of a female. So this leads to a gatekeeper. They guard the gates, the spiritual gates into the spirit world. They're the guards of the gate. And if it's a female, but she has a strong masculine gender, even though she's in a feminine body, she has a strong masculine gender. Okay, these are gatekeepers in the Dagara tribe, and certain tribes in Africa have this belief. This whole homosexual homophobia shit is really a Caucasian phenomenon. Even though people will argue against that, it's found in ancient times in Africa where these concepts of gatekeepers, two spirits, Native American tribes, places like that, had this concept. The European, yes, has a very feminine gender, feminine energy as a race of people. But some of their men were homophobic to disguise or hide those traits. Understand this. You'll understand that this whole two-spirit thing is actually something that has been there for thousands of years. Okay? Like, for example, I know individuals who are 100% masculine, but when certain spirits hit them, especially the Gay Day spirits, because they work with the Gay Day a lot, right? Of the Haitian Voodoo pantheon. When certain Gay Day spirits, because you know there's two gay homosexual Gay Day spirits. When some of those spirits take over their body, all of a sudden they start thinking like those two Gay Day who are homosexual or bisexual. So you have to understand this phenomenon doesn't make you that. It just means that certain energy is working and can shift your consciousness at certain times. Okay? Shamans in almost every culture, for instance, traditionally take on certain female attributes to propel them on their visionary journeys. A striking example of the universality of the left-hand path's working principles. The Italian magician philosopher Julius Evola, the most erudite 20th century Western interpreter of the left-hand path, analyzes this universal essence of feminine magical force in his 1958 magnum opus, The Metaphysics of Sex, when he observes that in China, the character Wu, used to designate a person who exercised the arts of magic in a strict or shamanic sense, was originally applied only to females. The techniques employed by the Wu to contact supersensual forces were sometimes ascetic and at other times orgiastic. In the latter case, it seems that in the beginning of the Wu officially wholly naked. The Wu officially officiated wholly naked. The Wu had to have youth and fascinating beauty as preliminary qualifications for her work, and the meanings of the characters Yao and Miao as queer, disquieting, and mysterious refer to the type and qualities of the Wu. The archaic Chinese equation of feminine power with both the magical and the genuinely weird energies in the universe reveals how the archetype of the left-hand path makes itself known again and again in unconnected esoteric traditions around the world. And I think I'll stop at that before some of y'all run for the hills. All right? I'll leave it at that, and I'm going to scroll up, start seeing if there's any questions. And then we'll go further. Like I said, I'm going to do several parts of the left-hand path of Tantra, Brahma Marga, demonic feminine. We're going to ride for a little while now. All right? Because this goes really in depth into things. So let me scroll up. God damn, there's a lot of people saying stuff tonight. All right. Let's see. Necro Cannon, that's right. You must master most. Shit, goddamn it. You must master both sides to be God over self. You must learn to marry the Shakti and Shiva within you. You must learn to bring the Aset and Asar within you. You must learn to bring the two into a harmonious integration. It is necessary on this path that you master that aspect within yourself and outside yourself. Gypsy Goddess is always cooking, showering, or doing something. Yes, Andre, there's many of those fake teachers, and that's how they sound like. That's right, Trina. It's about dealing with your biases and overcoming them and confronting them. It's most essential that we do that. All of us have biases, prejudices, but confront it. Okay? Confront it and deal with it. And it's very important to understand. Because when you really get deeper onto this path, into this journey, all those things that we've been conditioned and programmed with, whether it's racism, prejudice, bigotry, all those things you start to confront. And you start understanding things on a whole nother level. Okay? That doesn't mean you go blind. That's not what I said. Okay? To the stupid shit that people do. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you start to understand things on a whole nother level. That level is beyond these limited borders and boundaries we put on ourselves. Necrocanon, that's correct. The norm is the cattle, sheep, the herd, and the robot mentality. Program people who are basically sheep being led to slaughter. The cattle mentality. They all group together, follow each other, and do the same things together. That is a dangerous mentality. That mentality is actually more dangerous than the individual mentality. Why it's dangerous is because you can control a group of people, and if you can control their minds, you could get them to do anything, even harm people that have no business being harmed. Okay? That's why that cattle or sheep mentality or robot mentality is dangerous, because you can easily influence them to go hurt or do other things to people, and no one will speak up about it because they're also under that mentality. Exactly, Necrocanon. The only limitation that exists is the self-limitation, the limits that we put upon ourselves, what we bind ourselves under, what we limit ourselves to be able to accomplish or not accomplish, the limits we put on our thinking, the limits we put on our actions, the limits to everything. You'd be really shocked if you did an inventory on ourselves to find out how much limitation we actually put on ourselves. We don't even realize it. Sometimes it's in the words we use, how we limit ourselves. Okay? Sometimes if you listen to a person closely, everything they say is can't. That's a negative or a limiting mentality or usage of words, which is projected from the subconscious mind. Can't is a way of saying cannot. You cannot do something. Even though you think you're saying it in a positive, you're really saying it in a negative. Okay? Because the word in itself is negative. So you got to understand these things, because you have to find the time to take to analyze everything about yourself. Even the way you speak can be detrimental to your goals and plans. Even the way you think. Pay attention to all those things. That's right. Cheers to anyone who's indulging in a drink they like, or smoking whatever they want, or eating some good food. It's all good. It's your choice as the God to do as you please. Just realize that on the left-hand path, yes, you can do as you please, but everything comes with consequences, whether it's beneficial consequences or detrimental. If you're a God and you have taken action, consequences come out of that. And if they come out detrimental, as a God, don't neglect, don't run from, take total ownership if they come out detrimental. If they come out beneficial, all good. But don't run from when things turn into detrimental, because you're the one that took the action. You're the only one that can take responsibility for that result. You can't blame no one else. As a true God, you only look at yourself for anything that happens. That's right. Understand the power of sound, the power of harmonics, power of frequencies. It's a study in itself. As a matter, there's a good book here I have it's called Chakra Frequencies, written by Jonathan Goldman, who actually works on making harmonic resonant music. Very important. Study sounds. I use a lot of binaural beats in my meditations and some of my ritual work. It can actually help you reprogram your mind when you use the binaural beats. All right. Understand sound and frequency. Understand your voice, how you project it, what you're saying, how is it penetrating the heart, the mind of people, or is it being aggressive and turning people off? You have to know all of these things. It's a science, people. Everything you do may seem like it's just an accident. It's not. Everything has a calculated science, especially when you start getting the knowledge on that and how to use it. It's a science. That's right, Gypsy Goddess. You know your voice and how it sounds like, and you know that men have been seduced by it, so to speak. That's your power, your gift. But just because it's your power, your gift, does not mean you cannot make it stronger or better. Always hone your skills. Always. That is correct, Gypsy Goddess. When you speak to someone you're interested in, your voice automatically changes. I used to remember when I was in college, I had my roommate. I could tell when he was on the phone with his girl or when she called. 'Cause most of the time, you'd be like, yo, what up, son? What up? Minute it's a girl, you'd be like, yo, what's good, baby? How you doing, man? Your voice changes right away. Trust me. I done seen this shit for years and done it myself. Your voice drops. You start going from with the way you regularly sound to trying to sound like Barry White in a matter of seconds. And yes, when women want something, they know how to change that voice, boy. Yeah, I can hear it coming. I'll be like, "What you want? What is it?" Good, good. Jennifer Long, tell them we said hello. Well, it depends. Some of the Indian people put the red dot because they walk under a different path or a different god or goddess, so they put it there representing that. Others who put it there, they put it there because it does represent the sadhana or the elixir between the semen and the menses, and they put it there because it creates or brings forth psychic powers and abilities and healing. So that's why some of them put it there. Others just put it there because they're religious as hell, and that's what they're told to do. We got to remember that some of them are spooky wooky too. Dan Duma, just like the Infernal Union, Samael and Lilith. It's exactly the same concept. You can find this in many different paths. When you take Samael and Lilith, you do some infernal ritual work with that. There is a level of tantric sexual uh, exchange in that infernal rite. Okay. And there is an exchange of energy, and a lot Samael and Lilith can be experienced by the opposite sex, meaning the Lilith energy can be experienced by the masculine or the man, and the Samael energy will be experienced by the feminine or the female. And when you do this work of infernal union, you both should experience this interaction and exchange of energies. Okay, that is when the work is taken to a higher level. The work is not just okay, I'm a dude and I'm bust off, and she's a woman and she's gonna bust off and then we're all good. That's amateur shit. The work is for her to experience Samael within her. Okay? You as a man naturally are encompassing and embodying the Samael energy. Your goal is to exchange it with her so she experiences Samael energy, and she will exchange the Lilith energy with you so you experience the Lilith energy. bringing a marriage or infernal rite within self. All right. Some of y'all are freaky as hell, but that's another story. Taurus are freaky as hell. So are Gemini, but I'm not gonna speak about that. Anyways, so yeah, having flashbacks, aren't you, Gypsy Goddess? Huh? Huh? Torturing yourself. Think about that Taurus male, that bull, huh? Anyway, that's another story. Oh shit, the bull gang. That's right. Also called ambrosia too. Correct. Let me say this, Gypsy Goddess. I don't know. Some of y'all depending on the age, but I remember when I was younger. I'm talking about the 80s, right? Middle to late 80s, early 90s. There was a thing going around that people, like a lot of the brothers I knew, right? I'm talking about African American brothers. They wouldn't have oral sex with females. And I used to be looking at them like, dude, is you stupid? Like, yo, that's anybody working the left hand path. As a man on the left hand path, if you're working sex magic on the left hand path, you better know how to perform cunnilingus, oral sex, eat the vag, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? You better know how to perform that on the left hand path. That is one of the highest forms of sex magic you can possibly perform on the left hand path. But I remember when there was a time when African American brothers refused to do that. So in New York and in Connecticut, when I was living those two places, the sisters used to go to the Puerto Rocks, the Puerto Rican brothers, because we was more than down to do that. We was like initiated into that from an early age. You understand? Anyway, that's another story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 All right, where am I at? I got lost because y'all getting freaky up in this shit. God damn it. Who's twerking? Trina, you twerking? I need to see that. Next ritual, you better twerk. Anyway, it's another story. Who's a spiritual stud? Where they at? Are they in here? Anyway, it's another story. Yeah, Allure Kush Goddess. I always said the same thing. How does Gypsy look? Gypsy Goddess, the mysterious one. How the hell does she look? Anyways, Jennifer Ashley, that is 100% correct. You should study everything under, above, the sun, underneath the ground, in the ground, because if you study everything, it helps you make sense on your path to put the pieces of the puzzle together for your personal path. Everybody has a different perception or understanding of things, and only you can make sense of your path based upon your perception. So the more you study, the more wisdom you gain and understanding you're going to gain from that. So you're welcome, Jennifer Ashley. That's right. Assimilate and create. Arm, leg, arm. Hell yeah. Okay, Gypsy Goddess says she's a mixed body, looks like Caribbean, and I look Lebanese Moroccan type. Lord have mercy. That's just straight evil, Gypsy Goddess. Evil! Anyways, it's another story. Listen, y'all. Unfortunately, none of y'all are in Orlando, but we's always down to hang out up here. Miami's like 3 hours, 15 minutes away. Well, more like Broward County and Palm Beach County. I can't always make it down there. I'm busy a lot of time. But there's a lot of things to do in Orlando. I'm going to just say this real quick. I ask people all the time, have you been to Orlando? They'll say, yeah, I've been to Disney. Not sorry. Disney is not Orlando. Disney is near Kissimmee. It's in Kissimmee and Lake Buena Vista. Okay. That is like 25 minutes from Orlando. Orlando is a city that has a lot to do in it. It's like Miami, just different. We have a lot of stuff to do here. Shopping, restaurants, clubs, bars, theme parks, all kinds of stuff. But people don't ever come here, so I can't hang with none of y'all. Y'all always go to Miami. Whatever. That's another story. All right, let's keep it going. Serve your soul, huh? Serve your soul, huh, Lord Krishna? Unbelievable. See, I opened the door for y'all to get crazy. Well, see, that little Robotoid vacuum cleaner, I always forget to move them out the way. I'm a neat freak, so I tend to want to clean up a lot. Sometimes I forget it's there, but I moved it out the way because it's tacky on videos, goddammit. That shit is tacky. It's gotta be real. So I had to say, no, you gotta go, buddy. Yep. All right, let's see. Tell her we said she is welcome. Tan Rich, yes, you could see. You're not. Here's the thing. Never think that because you mix with somebody, you're connecting yourself with them for eternity. You're not. When you mix with someone, there is a length of time that person's energy is going to stay within you. But you, as a God, have the power to push it out of you too. You just have to know the work to do, and there is work to do to get that done. Okay, so you're not at the mercy of, if you mix with somebody, you're stuck with them forever. That's bullshit and nonsense that a lot of conscious crap people try to use, try to control you and keep you under their little spellbound information. No. You as a God have the power over your mind, body, and soul. As such, you have the power and ability to detox or cleanse yourself from anybody's energy that you have connected with. But the point is this: if you're going to exchange energy, make sure that person's on your level when you do it. Then it's beneficial, not so much detrimental. This is the key to that. Yes, Jai Kali Ma, Jai Shakti Ma. As you can see, I have Kali way back here. Kali's always there. That's one of my archetypes that I've been working with for years. Strong. All right. Well, Gypsy Goddess, it's interesting you say that, because as a Catholic, the Catholic Church in itself has a discreet way of putting the feminine power and worshiping the feminine power. Mary, the Virgin Mary, right, is always venerated. It's always subscribed to. And this is one thing that we fail to forget, that in the Catholic Church, they do venerate the female or feminine force. They just overwhelm it with the masculine force. But Mary is always venerated, okay? And if you look at some of the statues of the Virgin Mary, you can see the yoni pictured within the statue. That's a subliminal way of them saying, we know the power of the female, but we're too gay to admit it. Now I'm playing. Anyways, Just a joke, by the way. Yes, women are born witches for sure, and some of y'all turn witches into bitches. And bitches into witches. Anyways, whatever. Of course, women are the first teachers. If most of us, 99% of us, and I say 99% because 1%, you could have been born into a household where it was two men, okay? Or so understand that's why I said 99%. 99% of us were in a household where there was a woman and she was our mother. And she was your first teacher. From the moment you were in the womb of your mother, you were being taught. Everything your mom did while you were in that womb, whether it was whatever she did was negative or positive, passed into you. Okay, passed into you. And this is some of the things that influenced you from early childhood on. Some of those things were already programmed into you from when your mom had you in her womb. This is why it said that you should play uh, certain sounds and rhythms for the child while they're in the womb. This is why I said you could learn as a woman, as a mother, if you learn how to speak different languages while the child is in your womb, that child will be born with the gift and ability to learn multiple languages quicker and earlier. Okay, so it's very important as a woman when you're pregnant to really create the environment of learning and knowledge and wisdom and spirituality and caring for that child while they're in your womb. Is of the utmost importance. So much so that people would be really shocked as how much is programmed from the mother to the child when they were in the womb. And while we know this now, we must do something about it to create the environment for that child to be raised as a god, not as a mortal. All right. My V, most likely I'll be there at the 2 day event. It's 99, well, 95% chance I'll definitely be there. So I'm working on creating everything to get down there for that time. Yep. And some of the stories, like let's say Gypsy got some of the stories in the Bible, the Bible, they did say that these angels, these these different groups of beings, Nephilim and different things like that, honored the woman, loved the woman, and had sex with the woman. Why would he effed up now? Let me stop. Spiritual stud. Where did you do your segment? Did you put it online on YouTube or anything? Because I really would love to check it out. Because I did a class a couple years ago, or last year I think it was, on the gatekeepers and the androgynous gods archetypes that you can find across the United States and the world, that people are not aware of. There's many androgynous gods and goddesses that exist across the world, but when we kind of ignore that, or we're made to feel ashamed to even accept those things. But hey, this is the reality. The androgynous energy is real. The androgynous energy operates on so many levels, on the physical, the spiritual, and the mental. Okay, so we got to really start paying attention and expanding our minds beyond these little corners or walls that we put up and around our minds for the teachings that we absorb. So I would really like to check that out. So Spiritual Study, if you could send me an email, a link or something, I'll put the email afterwards so I could check out your segment you did on that. Really would love it. Okay. So I'm gonna definitely want to check that out. Just let me know. But if you get a chance, spiritual stuff, go back into my archives on YouTube. You'll see the class I did on the androgynous gods, particularly African androgynous gods that many people are not aware of. There's many across cultures and different ethnic groups and races, but I did the African one in particular for these conscious coons who are so pro into everything that they don't even realize their own African sciences because they're so brainwashed into this alpha male superiority male mentality that they're totally missing the point of life. So that's why I did that particular class. So check it out if you get a chance. Okay, check that out when you get a chance because I think you might like it. All right, so let's continue because y'all got a lot of comments tonight. I must have hyped y'all up. Must have hyped y'all asses up. No, I lost this shit. God damn it. Shit. Damn, this thing skipped way the hell down there. Where the hell am I? Holy shit. Dude. Let me stop. All right. All right, here we go. I found my spot again. Yep. Hopefully she makes it to a drumming session or he makes it. He or she, whatever. It don't matter to me. Just make it. Make it. All right. My mom, ex-Mormon. Woo. Gypsy Goddess, you got some stories to tell, child. Ex-Mormon husband. Wow. I done heard all your stories, and there's another one coming. And this one is shocking, more shocking than shocking. Ex-Mormon husband. I don't know. Go figure. Anyways, drove me nuts with that damn label. Men have the priesthood. Fuck that. Listen, for all these men priesthood, there was always female priesthood. And let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you about Ast or Aset that people don't commonly talk about. They, this conscious crap, this conscious community tried to take Aset and make her into some super loving, nourishing mama, divine, super spooky crap. No doubt she was a divine, nourishing mother, but they forget that Ast or Aset was what? She was cunning, she was deceptive, and she was treacherous. To get the magical word of Ra, she did some treacherous things to get that magic word of Ra to empower herself and her female friends and family and women that belong to this power that's been held from them. She went and flipped the script and used cunning and treachery and deception to get what she needed from Ra. Now, in today's world, all that's negative or that's evil to use that. No, that just shows the power that female have of seduction, of cunningness, of deception, of secrecy to get the power. I mean, to use their power to get the knowledge that they need to empower themselves. Because men don't freely give it up. That's a perfect mythological story in Kemet that if a person really studies that, understands the concept that this priesthood of men crap is bull crap. Okay? That women always had a priesthood of their own, and that priesthood was to empower women to become goddesses. And they did everything in their power to try to shun or destroy that priesthood over time. Just like they took the priesthood of Set and tried to destroy it. And what people don't realize a lot of times, and they don't understand this, is when you really go in depth into the story of Set, Set was more androgynous than he was just a male gendered being. He was more androgynous. Okay, he wasn't about suppressing the male female. He was about mastering and harmonizing and integrating both within him. But that's not commonly spoken about. So no, that male priesthood is a fictitious crap to hold women down when women always have had a priesthood to control their powers and elevate it to become the masters they're to be. But unfortunately, throughout time, they have taken it and suppressed that priesthood of females. They have taken it and suppressed and destroyed that power of females. They have taken and suppressed your power to feel beautiful, to feel sexy, to feel seductive, and made you think it's evil. Y'all will see when you meet my wife. I do not suppress any of that in her. I let her be herself. She want to dress sexy, I'm all for it. I'm not afraid of other men talking to her, looking at her. It makes me proud that other men are even hollering or trying to look at her, because that means she's sexy and beautiful, and motherfucker, I chose right. God damn it. Anyway, that's another story. I had to go on a tangent real quick. Tangent. All right, let's go, because there's a lot of damn questions or statements and comments. All right, let me keep going here. God damn it. Well, Ashley, I believe if there is a creator, that the creator was androgynous. That's what I believe. Female is a later thing, so is masculine or male is a later thing. I believe that the creator would be androgynous. The female came first because the female is the actual portal or gateway for life to come here. But the man came next. Under that is much understood, but I believe that creators are androgynous. This is why you have masculine and feminine gendered beings. But in the spirit, you have no masculine and gendered beings. In the spirit is just energy, androgynous energy. Well, that's a different story, but I think Jennifer Ashley, I'm gonna do another class on that. Coming up real soon, I'm going to do another class on the androgynous and the demonic feminine. Now, what I would like to do when I do this class, help me out, because I know technology, but I'm not a master or savvy of it. I would like to do a class where we could all be on here and see all of us and have the woman lead the class and speak on this, the demonic feminine. Okay, speak on the androgynous energy and the demonic feminine energy. I would love for us to be able to see each other and do a round table or kind of like that kind of discussion. So if anybody knows ways, please let me know and set it up. Just let me know, email me, set it up for sometime soon. I do most of these classes on Sundays at 7, so set it up, because I think it's time for some of y'all sisters to get up here and rock it. So I can save this voice, God damn it. Get up here and represent. I would love to see Gypsy Goddess represent. All right? I know she got shit to say. I would love for Jennifer Long to represent. All right? I would love for Cobra Queen to get up here and represent. I would love for Trina to get up here and represent. Because y'all got the fire, but you need to speak it. You need to come out and do this. We can't always be here talking about the demonic feminine and it's a masculine guy talking about it. We need y'all to talk about it from your perspective, walking and living in that demonic feminine. I can only understand it from integrating the energy. Y'all understand it from the gendered being perspective. So that's what I would like to hear. So if y'all really serious, I mean really serious, I'm representing the demonic feminine, let's set it up. That's another note. All right, so where we go? Where we at? Wu-Tang. Yes, Wu-Tang Clan. That's my ish. Ain't nothing to fuck with. Damn, by the balls. Be careful. That shit could hurt. You're welcome, Black Quartz. All right. Have y'all seen the depiction of Shiva, the dark-skinned Shiva, and Durga, Lakshmi, Krishna? If not, type in Google dark-skinned Indian gods. And look at that. I actually printed that picture, put it on my ritual wall. That Shiva picture fire. So is the Durga. That's fire. They put them in their real dark skin perspective. This shit was fire. Anyways. All right. Cobra Queen, this is the aspect that people forget. And left hand path, Tantra, which gave birth to the left hand path, the Western left hand path. You never avoid life. You live life. You partake in life, because in life, there is knowledge and wisdom and understanding in every experience that you encounter. There is sacredness, lack of a better word, sacredness in everything you encounter. And when we start to look at life like that, we start to expand our consciousness and empower ourselves more. Instead of shunning life, running from life. I got to go sit up in the Himalayan mountains and chant and do the mudras and all this stuff. By the way, if you want to know how to do a yoni mudra, one of them, which is a yoni tappa mudra, is like this. All right. It's right here. You put your thumb on your ring finger right here in the first part. And you can do that in your meditations to activate your yoni. I ain't going to do it because I don't have a yoni. But anyways, but I may do it another way. Anyways, that's another story. All right, where we at? True, Trina. But especially when you start to expose those biases, it helps in your journey. All right, Necrocannon, that's a good question. You said the fourth chakra. I'll tell you actually some tones to use for that, or mantras to use for that can help, all right? I just got to find the damn thing. Shit, I think I passed it. Where is it at? Oh, shit, I'm way off. All right, so let me tell you what mantras to use for the fourth chakra. Okay, for the fourth chakra, or the heart chakra, or Anahata chakra, the C sound of this chakra is yang. Yang, Y-A-N-G, yang. And it belongs to the deity of air, Vayu, which, when correctly pronounced, it vibrates the spiritual heart and makes the energy move up. You can also visualize the 12 lotus petals of this chakra, starting with the one to the right. I start with the one to the left, so I reverse everything on the left-hand path. As you visualize each petal moving clockwise, you could do it counterclockwise. You will so I'm gonna say it counterclockwise. What seed sounds to use? Okay. Thang, T-H-A-N-G. Tang, T-A-N-G. Uang, U-A-N-G. Zhang, G-A-N-G. Jang, J-A-N-G. Chang, Kang, Yang, Gang, Gang, Kang, and Kang. So those are for the lotus petals. But if you want to just work on the seed sound for the root chakra, for the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, the Anahata, use the yang. Tonate the yang so it can vibrate matter to antimatter and cause your chakras to start moving. But while you're doing that, visualize the black flame moving the chakra, okay, in whatever direction you choose to. Visualize that, and that's the seed sound to use for that. Okay? So work on that. The second chakra. Shit, I just saw the second chakra question. My bad. Use the word Vang. V-A-N-G for the second chakra. Vang. V-A-N-G. All right. Andrew Polk, that's correct. Y'all can build yoni altars. You do realize that. You can get the yoni eggs too to utilize. You know, the yoni eggs you put inside. You can contract your yoni to strengthen the walls of the yoni. Okay. Now, when you're done, take it out, set it on your altar. Okay. You can have a representation of Shakti on there or some feminine energy you're connected to. And then you can actually do a mantra with Shakti and focus on your womb and your yoni as you're doing the mantra. Okay, while you're looking at the image of Lakshmi, looking at the image of Kali, whatever you're attracted to, that's one way you can put the power of the yoni on the altar, but also utilize it to help master and strengthen the power of your yoni. Okay? Yeah. Society is limiting. This is why we have to question ourselves as to how much we're programmed by society. We'll be amazed how much we're really programmed by society. And then once you find that out, you have to start taking the steps to breaking it and reprogramming it with your own thoughts and ideas and things you want to put in your mind. So society does limit us, but we accept society's programming, which then leads to us limiting ourselves. We don't have to, but this is how we're programmed. So we have to go and address ourselves and break those things to free ourselves. Yes, external worship, giving our power to external things, not realizing that when you worship something outside of yourself, you're lessening your own power. You're making yourself weaker. We think we're making ourselves stronger. No, you're not. You're making yourself weaker because you're feeding your power, your energy to some external thing that really cannot help you. Okay? Okay, Gypsy Goddess, I feel you 100%. That whole Dominican Haitian thing, let me tell y'all. Listen, I went to DR when I was 16 years old in 1987. Okay? I remember I had gone to PR first with my fam, and then a couple of us in my fam had gone over to DR for about 4 days. Okay? And it was an eye-awakening experience when I went to DR. I went to Santo Domingo, and I saw the poorest of the poor. Okay, and I noticed something in DR when I was there that in 16 I was just starting to awaken to certain things. Okay, and one of the first things I questioned at that age was, why are all the dark-skinned people poorer than poor, and all the mulattoes or lighter-skinned looking people in Santo Domingo working in the hotels, driving the cabs, and doing they got all the jobs, but the darker the dark are just shunned in poorest of the poor. That's the first thing I noticed there. Second thing I noticed is this tension and animosity between Haitians and Dominicans. It's the stupidest shit ever. Okay? Basically descended from the same people. African DNA-wise, descended from the same people. The problem comes in when the damn Spaniards and the French, okay? The Spaniards mixed in with a lot of the Africans there and use this colorism to make the lighter feel superior. Whereas in Haiti, a lot of the French had left and not really mixed in as much. So you had more darker skinned people there. So now here you have this tension based upon more colorism, because that's all it really is based upon. Okay. And then, of course, people base it upon language and all this bullshit. Basic thing I noticed is a bunch of bullshit on how two people who share one island can't even get along. Yet they're basically the same people. One speaks Spanish, one speaks French. They're both Latin languages, okay? They're both languages imposed on the people. So that's not your original languages, all right? But yet there's division, there's just discrimination, there's all kinds of stuff, and you're the same people. It made me sick to my stomach when I saw that in Haiti. Trust me, I saw the same thing in Puerto Rico. When I started going to Puerto Rico, I noticed all the darkest skinned people in Puerto Rico had the shittiest jobs, lived in the shittiest neighborhoods, and treated the shittiest. But yet there's no racism in Puerto Rico, according to Puerto Ricans. This is the stupidest shit I ever heard, okay? Because when I saw it for myself, I told all of them, you're all full of shit and you need to check yourselves, okay? And I still, when I go back to PR maybe once a year or twice a year like I tried to, I still address a lot of them. Check yourselves and your stupid racism, inner racism, self-hatred, and prejudice that you have amongst yourself, when most of y'all have a grandmother, a grandfather, or you have a great-grandmother, somebody who's African in your ancestry. So you can't deny that African blood no matter how much you want to. But anyways, that's a whole nother story of straight ignorance. Ignorance. All right. Trina, I feel you. The Midwest is something else. I lived in Ohio for a year. That was something else, bud. Totally some different kind of mentality, different kind of culture out there. That's right, Lord Coach Goddess. Your body is your altar, and no one can destroy it, only if you allow them to. Yeah. They speak to you about voodoo, but yet Dominicans have 21 divisions, which is a variant of voodoo. Go figure. Singing bowl meditation, yes. If you don't have a singing bowl or singing crystal bowl, get one. It's really good to use for your rituals, and it's excellent to use for your meditations. If you don't have one, get one. I'm in the process of getting a couple of them myself. All right? Very powerful. Very good in your work. Yeah, I feel you, Trina. They wouldn't deal with. They wouldn't be able to deal with you at all. And it ain't just because of the dark side, girl. There's other things they can't deal with. I've seen with my own eyes. Anyways. Yep. The manifestation of for law of attraction, which is basically aligned with the principle of the 7 principles of Tahuti of cause and effect. Okay? What you put out is what you get back in so many words. So if your mind is constantly attracting some bullshit, that's what you're going to manifest in your life. The key is not what you consciously are aware of thinking. That's the distracted mind. That's the mind that really is not thinking what's truly within you. Your subconscious is really projecting your thoughts outwardly more so than what you're consciously thinking or you're verbally saying. So what you attract into your life has a lot to do with your subconscious mind. That's something they don't really share with people, or a lot of information share, especially in the new age path or things like that. But whatever's in your subconscious is what you're really attracting into your life. Not so much what you're saying or what you're consciously aware of thinking. It's what's subconsciously there. So in other words, if you keep saying, I don't want to be late to work, I do not, or I don't, you're basically constantly saying don't as a not the do not but not. Your subconscious mind always hears the not more often than it does the do not. So eventually you end up being late to work instead of bending space, matter, and time by shifting your mind to the affirmative as if it's already been done. As I'm on time to work instead of I want to be on time to work. I want to be on time to work. No, I'm on time already. Okay, then you start to bend space, matter, and time to actually allow you to get there on time. You'd be surprised the power of your mind, and the more you learn the power of your mind, the more you manifest what you need in your life. Yep, 21 divisions. Many of us did not know or understand that. In Puerto Rico, we have a variant of the 21 divisions. It's called Sansi. Sansi, which they also call Puerto Rican voodoo, which came from a Dominican who came to PR years ago and taught that path, the 21 divisions. That's right, Necro Cannon. We create every experience. Here's the trick. When you learn to be the God over yourself, you create the experiences that are beneficial for your growth. I don't wait for an experience to happen. You know how some people say, oh, I wish I could experience this, or I wish I could do this. I don't wait. I create that situation so I can experience it in the now. I don't want to wait for it to happen in some accident or aberration of nature makes it happen. Oh, now I'm in that moment I wanted to experience. You're the God. You're the God in control of your life. So you have the power to create your experiences so you can experience it now, not later. I don't wait for my experiences. Whatever I want to experience, I make it happen now. All right, let's see. All right. Trina, don't do that now. Do not do. Okay, anyways, I changed the name back to Ravana Noon on Instagram, just so you're aware. You could see a picture of me when I was young there with my curly hair. Trina, I'm gonna hate you for this, but it's all good, man. All right, so let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, Tan Rich, good question. Once your crown is open, how do you protect yourself during astral travel from energy vampires? Number one step, know your God. Number two, know that nothing can hurt you unless you let it. Number three, know that you're God. Number four, know that you're God. Number five, know that you're God. Number six, nothing can hurt you unless you let it. Why do I keep repeating that? Because y'all have to really get this in your mind. You're the God. And if you're the God, that means you're in control of every part of yourself, mind, body, soul. Mind, spirit, body, soul. Whatever you want to think or say, you are in control of that. Whatever you want to let in, you are in control of that. Do not allow yourself to think that you're weak and that you can't stop something from happening to you. Yes, you can. You allow things to happen to you because you allow yourself to get weak. So when you're in an astral travel or you're astral projecting and you encounter lower vibrating frequencies of energy or beings, as they say, or entities, they're not there to harm you only if you let them. They look for the weak-minded ones to attack. If you've done the work, the shadow work, dealt with your mind, strengthen your weaknesses, they have nothing to feed off of. They have nothing to attack you on. The ones who get attacked when they're in the astral realm are the ones who've done no work or taken the time to encounter their weaknesses and strengthen them. So these lower vibrating beings can sense your fears because you haven't confronted your fears, because that's one of the work you should do. They can sense your fear and use it to attack you, absorb you, whatever they need to do. So you're the God, and nothing can hurt you unless you let it. Always remember those two things, and that's your protection in the astral realm. Sure, you can also create a shield around your mind, okay? I mean, around your astral body. You can create a shield of any variant color you choose to, and it's difficult for them to penetrate. But I've experienced and seen people who created shields and still got penetrated. Why? Because the shield's only going to protect you as much as the weaknesses of your mind. So if that fear, that weakness is still there, those entities can find a way to penetrate any shield around you. It all begins in the mind, all ends in the mind. This is why the principle of Tahuti, number uno, in so many words, says, all is mind, mind is all. Everything ends and begins with your mind. Make your mind more powerful and you're in more control. Spiritual let me say this. Okay, negative energy. Now it depends. Is it negative energy from contact with people, just everyday contact? Is it negative energy from sexual contact? All those things are important to understand. When you have negative contact in sex, it's a long procedure because the DNA is passed into you. Your body naturally will synthesize that DNA and synthesize it with your own. Okay, that takes a spiritual detox, that takes a mental detox, and an emotional detox. And in order to do that, you're going to have to start deciphering what are your thoughts and what is that individual's thoughts. So this is why I say before you get in contact or have sexual contact with a person, you have to check your thoughts. Know yourself first and foremost before you get with them. Then you'll be able to see what they dumped into you that's negative or not. Okay? You'll be able to detect and to this. You'll be able to detect. Once you detect, you'll be able to send your energy to attack and destroy. Okay? A spiritual detox is a whole nother thing. That's spiritual cleansing. There's spiritual baths for that. There's cleansing with eggs. There's cleansing with eggs and herbs combined that can extract that negative energy out of you. That's one way. There is cleansing of the mind, which is intense meditation, but it's a different kind of meditation. It's introspection meditation. It's not passive meditation. It's active meditation, okay? Where those thoughts that come up and arise, you don't just look at the thoughts and say, okay, I see this negative thought and let it pass. You actually see the thought, you see the negative thought, and you actively engage in it. And then while you're engaging in it, you start to attack it to overcome it. Meaning, okay, whatever this thought is, it came from this childhood stage situation, teenage situation. Go back into that moment in time when that first feeling aroused, when that first negative hold of that situation took place in your life, created a pattern. Go back and rewrite that situation to turn out differently. That's how you start to reprogram and detox that energy that's holding you or binding you or controlling you. Sexual, I do that in private classes. That's too intense. Okay, there's a lot of different things you have to do for that. That's too intense for the sexual energy to detox that. That takes, sometimes it could take a couple years. Sometimes it takes months, but most of the time it could take 2, 3 years, because sometimes we lay with people who have very toxic energy, and we're so enamored and attracted to their sexual energy and their physical appearance that we bypass this, all the warning signs, just because we got to get that energy. Then we screw later. That's a whole nother detox. That I do privately. All right, where we at? That's correct. Necrocanon, vampires, especially if you're in a vampire family, coven, or order, you don't feed off of your fellow vampires. That's not acceptable and not allowed within vampiric covens or circles. Okay, if that person is doing that, there is ways to handle that violation. Most vampires don't feed off of their family. Okay, that's another violation. And you shouldn't feed off your wife or husband. That's another violation. Okay. Now, if you choose to, that's up to you. I ain't gonna tell you what to do or not do, but that's usually not things we do. Shit, this thing keeps skipping. God damn it. Y'all just chatterboxes tonight. Shit, niggas. Damn. Chatterbox people. Jeez, this shit skipped so far. Alright, left hand path woman is the best. I agree. Robotic bestiality, oh lord. Tan Rich, that commonly can happen, especially if you're doing a lot of work in the astral plane. You will be caught in dimension sometimes, which is why we give warnings to people who work with that to deal with your ish. Because sometimes when you're trapped into dimensionally, it's hard. For some people, they may never come back. Those are people who veg out, and I personally have seen that happen to quite a few people. Listen, Gypsy Goddess. What may be seen fluffy for me may be something that's on point for you. Um, what may be seem religious to you may seem right on point to me. You gotta go with your flow. This is what you feel. If that's what you're working with, that's what you work with. Um, as you journey this path, you start to get the understanding, especially as a Luciferian, you start to get the understanding that what works for a person is what works for a person, and that's beautiful 100 for them. It may not work for me, but I accept and respect that and have nothing negative to say because that's what works for you. Okay? So, because of that, work what you're attracted to and what you're feeling in your spirit and soul. Ah, spiritual stud, I missed it on Facebook. All right, cool. You're not a sinner spiritual stud. And yes, there is more advanced beings that walk among us, but they're never going to speak about it because they want us to stay spiritually stupid. Fuck the Catholic Church. They're crazy ass people, anyways. Yo, y'all went boohoo crazy with typing tonight. I guess y'all like the topic. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, um, would you like a part three to this? If so, say yes, type in yes. And number two, what if you do want a part three to this, what would you like me to focus on? And Gypsy Goddess, let me tell you this. Puerto Ricans are stupider than goddamn. Anyways, this is another story because some of them can be real ignorant and stupid. All people can be ignorant and stupid. I don't give a damn what nationality, ethnic group. Stupid. Cubans are retarded sometimes. Mexicans are retarded. Italians can be retarded. Arabs can be retarded. All people got issues. The thing is, while we're on this path, we start to see past those definitions and labels, and we start to break free from that. And we start to look at people just as people and what they can offer you on your life path to help you grow and elevate, regardless of color, creed, nationality. All that shit becomes irrelevant when you're walking this path. All of it. All right, focus on the Kundalini. And then another one says techniques and meditations. All right, so what I'm going to do next week is we're going to go more into the Tantra, left hand path Tantra, working the Kundalini, the techniques, and also bring out the Kundalini, the Tantra, and the gatekeepers, and how the gatekeepers work into the Kundalini aspect. All right, so we're going to go deeper into that next week, so that we can really build on that and go further. I see this is a topic that people are enjoying, and we'll expand further and go further into this for next week. So it's going to be utilizing Tantra, Kundalini, methods and techniques and meditations and mantras that we could use, bringing it all together. All right. Also, all right, Allure Kush Goddess, underworld magic. Now, that is a topic that we'll discuss as well, not probably next week, the week after, dealing with magic of the underworld, those deities of the underworld or archetypes of the underworld, and how it's all connected to your subconscious mind and how you have the power to direct that energy and master that energy in your everyday life. All right. So we're going to go into all of that next week. Like I said, we're going to deal with the left hand path Tantra, Kundalini, which will tie into the chakras, meditation techniques to do that. Now, this is also going to tie a little more into, yes, Allure Kush Goddess, we are on the underworld. We are on the underworld, but that's not the underworld I speak of. I speak of this underworld because as your physical body is in this underworld of existence, your subconscious is even under that world. And that's the part we have to get to and keep attacking. Keep opening. Keep cracking. Because the more we get into that, the more you'll master any aspect of this path you want to work on. Kundalini and rising it. Tantra and working it. Black magic and walking it. Being a black adept on the left-hand path. All that is focused on the subconscious. That's why all these topics, if you notice, all tie into utilizing or tapping into that abysmic mind, that subconscious mind, tapping into this to bring the androgynous energy together. That's what it's focused on. All right, so I'll check y'all next week. Let me put my email in here for y'all that were wanting to hit me up for anything or had private questions about cleansing sexual energy or detoxing the body and mind, about things like that, or just Kundalini or things like that. Here's my email. All right. And go check out the website. Go check that out. All right, serpentcrystals.com. There's some things there to work with the chakras. There's ritual oils there to help with Kali energy, working with the tantric energy. There's a vampire magic section there for those who really are interested in vampire magic. There's a section, my pet book is there. There's vampiric oils for astral projection. I suggest for all those who had questions about the astral projection, who had questions about those things and anything with vampiric magic, I suggest you get the vampiric oils, okay? The vampire oil especially is for astral projection. From firsthand experience, it works wonders in your astral projection. All right, so check that out, serpentcrystals.com. Check out the vampire magic section. Get the vampiric oils, essential. All right, all my peeps, I'll check y'all Sunday next week, 7 p.m. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for enjoying and being freaky perverts. Peace.